Okay, I think we'll start now. The Max Ticktin Memorial Latke Hamentash, Latke, whatever, debate.
It's 2022.
2022, okay. My first of 28 errors. All right, and we have people still coming in, including our friend from India, Mas. We're going to say hi to you. I'm Jerry Garfinkel. I'm treasurer of the Study Center. And as such, I want to tell you that you're all very welcome. And this class and all of our other classes are free, but we do have expenses. And so we appreciate any donations. You can go to our website, www.jewishstudycenter.org, and click on donate. And you can donate then via PayPal or a credit card or check. If you click on check, it'll give you an address of where to send your check. Now some technical points. Before I get into technical, before I forget, I want to say that we're developing lots of classes, and we invite anyone here, if they have some class they want to learn about or something they want to teach, please email us. Email us at info@jewishstudycenter.org, and we'll get some classes going. We've had some great classes from such suggestions. So now technical points. I am now enabling what's called the live transcript, also closed captions. So if you're hard of hearing or you can't understand me or one of the speakers, if you enable on your computer the live transcripts, which is on the bottom, you can actually see more or less what's being said. It's not completely accurate, but it's close enough. Everyone is going to be muted, but we do want your questions or more, I guess, comments, and please write them into the chat box and write them to everyone. And I probably have 10 other things to say, but I'm not saying it now. Anyway, I want to introduce our president, Amy Schwartz, and she'll introduce the rest of the program. Amy, take it over.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the best night of the year for the Jewish Study Center, our annual Max Ticktin Memorial Latke Hamentash debate. Of course, yet again, we're virtual. We're sorry that we're not eating with you in person. It's just not the same without the direct research session at the end with the in-depth investigation of what you've just learned about latkes and hamantash. But we hope that with these brilliant speakers and our wonderful celebrity moderator, that you will be able to feel the crunch, you'll be able to sense the crumbles, you'll smell the aroma of the latkes, you'll taste the hamantaschen. It'll all happen in your head. And this worked last year, and we know it'll work again this year. And we're just glad to all be together. It's so great to see all these faces and voices. I see Mas is here from India. Hi, Mas. That always makes us feel international. And so we welcome all of you very much, and look forward to an evening of great laughter and fun. So Purim is coming. Thank God for Purim, because there are years when everything seems great and you want to laugh, and then there are years when you have to laugh so you won't cry. We know all about that. First of all, we're Jews, right? We know all about that, laughing so you won't cry. We've just been through 2 years of a pandemic, and need I say, we are now, watching and trembling as the horrific war going on. So with that in mind, all the more reason to laugh and to have a good time and to bounce things out, and So I have one other pleasant task in this introduction, and that is to offer our heartfelt appreciation for one person. Many years, one of the guiding spirits of this event has been Sheldon Kimmel, longtime pillar of the Study Center, an intellectual, a University of Chicago man. He this year, after many years, he told us he ready to let the baton pass to someone else. And I just wanted to say it's a good opportunity to sort of twine appreciation for Sheldon with the history of this event, which, as most of you know, started many years ago at the University of Chicago, where somebody from Hillel realized that the students needed someplace to go at the Christmas season, so created this fabulous debate. And in Chicago, first of all, they call it a symposium, and every year the planning meetings would begin with Sheldon reminding us and saying, look, I know you want to call it a debate, and I know a debate is fun, and I know it's very Washington, but this is really a symposium, and it's supposed to be academic and highfalutin. And if you ever watch the videos of the way the University of Chicago does them, with the faculty marching in full robes, that's their way. They do it at Hanukkah, we do it at Purim, and we do it because our lovely, wonderful founder and Zichrono Livracha, his Max Ticktin, when he came here and founded the Study Center, he came from University of Chicago. So this is the kids would say the OG. This is the original Latke Hamentash debate symposium that was brought from Chicago. So just want to thank Sheldon for all his years of this, and he passed it to the capable hands of Jerry Garfinkel, who introduced you, our fabulous treasurer, who has taken this on and who envisioned and invited all these wonderful participants. And speaking of capable hands, I now am going to pass you on to our wonderful celebrity moderator, Howard Mortman. You all know Howard. This is his fourth year as our moderator, 2 years in person and 2 years on screen. And we hope this will be a long and beautiful friendship. Howard is, as many of you know, he's the director of publicity for C-SPAN. He's a local boy, graduate of the University of Maryland. He is the author of a book. He's a historian. He's the author of a book called When Rabbis Bless Congress, a fabulous account of all the different rabbis who have presented the benediction. And I actually met Howard when he was presenting this in Northern Virginia, and I was presenting something after him, and we got to talk. I said, you've got to do this presentation for the Jewish Study Center, and that was shortly before it actually became a book. Howard is also has a little known, but as he says, much drawn upon career as a stand-up comedian, and you will see that he's going to give us a wonderful evening as always. So thank you all for coming. Take it away, Howard.
Thank you, Amy. And if we were in person, I'd say another round of applause for Jerry and Amy, everybody. So let me just, since I'm applaud both Jerry and Amy for putting this on. So let's have fun tonight. Welcome everyone to the annual Max Ticktin Memorial Latke Hamentash debate, sponsored by the lovely and talented folks who run the Jewish Study Center. You've come to the right place. This is where every year we settle once and for all the burning question, which are better, latkes or hamantaschen? This year, we hope to finally have the answer that will guide us for centuries, or at least until we do this again next year. I work for C-SPAN, as Amy mentioned, I work for C-SPAN, so you can be assured that as your debate moderator, I will be completely impartial, won't steer your opinion in any way, and will be fair to all sides. That said, I'm pulling for hamantaschen. If this is your first time, thank you, Jerry. If this is your first time joining us, tonight's event, put on by many dedicated volunteers, is all for a great cause. Every dollar we raise goes to help retrain latkes and hamantaschen with the skills they need to compete in this new global economy. And yes, we do validate parking. By the way, this is the first time this debate is being held just 1 week after the State of the Union address, 1 week after the State of the Union address. So consider this the State of Purim address. A big difference this year is that this year, with inflation, no one can really afford hamantaschen or latkes anymore. So tonight's debate is really theoretical. No one's going to be eating any of this. Of course, the other big difference between this year's debate and prior years, and this is great news, is that this year, nearly every word you hear tonight is perfectly sized for winning Wordle. Everything's got 5 letters: Purim, Latke, Haman, even the side dishes have 5 letters: apple, sauce, sour cream. But what about jumbo-sized words that are endless, like hamantaschen? Maybe we'll accept the word prune. So it's all an even playing field. Oh, and one more difference this year from prior years. We all know, of course, the classic hamantaschen flavors: prune, apricot, chocolate. Now with the new laws in DC, there's a new 4th flavor: marijuana. Actually, a couple of original brand new food jokes that you haven't heard in prior years. Let's just get these out of the way, and then we'll get right to, then we'll get going with the debate. Clowns who can't eat wheat, they have celiac disease. Jerry, thank you. I know someone who, I actually know someone, this is interesting. I know someone who, to protect herself, carries pepper spray. Actually, she works at a restaurant, so if someone threatens her, she offers the attacker fresh pepper spray. And here's some really good news that shows how far we've progressed as a society. You like soup? Me too, I love soup. My favorite soup is Italian wedding soup. Now, thanks to those new court rulings, we can enjoy Italian same-sex wedding soup. And I know there are some folks in the audience tonight who aren't Jewish. You might hear us talk about food that seems odd or weird to eat. Perfectly understandable. Heck, I enjoy eating alligator. I don't know if you've ever had alligator. If you haven't, it tastes a little like crocodile. All right, once again, this year we're on Zoom like last year. If you're like me, it feels like we've been on Zoom since the Eisenhower administration. For a long time, we've been battling bad Wi-Fi, the mute button, distractions like email, and audience not wearing pants. So hopefully we'll be back in person next year with pants. A few quick housekeeping notes. If there's a bad smell, that's just left over from the folks who did that Zoom debate on side dishes, sour cream versus applesauce. And we're looking for volunteers to help clean up after this Zoom tonight to get it ready for next month's big debate, horseradish versus shank bone. And of course, when I say shank bone, you all say, you're welcome. Oh, I just got handed a note. Okay, 1 second, I got it. All right, 1 second. If you're looking for the, what's this note say? If you're looking for the Gleekfelder bar mitzvah, that's the next Zoom over. Oh, but this is good news. They validate your parking too. All right, so let's get going. I know there's much excitement for the debate tonight. I haven't heard this much squealing since that pickleball championship. And again, we're live where anything can happen. So remember, if you lost your sense of smell, you have COVID. And if you've lost your sense of humor, well, you've come to the right place tonight. So now, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury and our worldwide audience, let's start the debate. And a quick note before we introduce the first panelist, if you, we want everybody to stay to the end here, everybody, because at the end, everybody in the audience will have a chance to vote and the winner of Latke or hamantaschen. So I'm going to introduce the first panelist tonight from the pro-hamantaschen side, Danny Fingeroth. Danny Fingeroth, the son of a cantor, is a popular culture critic and historian with a focus on comics and graphic novels, especially from a Jewish perspective. His most recent book is A Marvelous Life, The Amazing Story of Stan Lee from St. Martin's Press, Macmillan. Excellent, folks. The definitive biography of the co-creator Marvel Comics and its most famous characters, including Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the X-Men. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first panelist of the night, Danny Fingeroth.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you, and thank you, Jerry, and the NSC, the JSC, for inviting me. You could probably figure out, even if Howard hadn't mentioned it, that I'm on the pro-hamantaschen side. I don't know. It could be my body language, some subtle clues, but I have a visual aid, so I want to share the screen and see if we can get this going. Let's see. Hold it. Don't look at the slides coming up. There we go. Share. Slideshow. All right, just I want to be sure people remember what I look like. So there's a in case you want to get a hold of me later and you want to do a photo search, you can just use that photo and you'll find me. So I just want to assure everybody that I've done almost 45 minutes of research online in preparation. So you can be sure that everything I say is well documented and absolutely completely true. And I think I might have clicked through at least the first 4 hits I found for any search I did. Right, okay. So all right, so I want to thank you for inviting me to the Marshmallow Peeps Santa Cookies debate. I'm not sure why you thought I would be the guy, and yet I was so, oh wait, that's next week. All right, never mind. All right, I'll come to my website next week for that. All right, and here is just kind of opening. Wanted to show you how unbiased I was and that I had no agenda here at all. I'm completely objective. So let us now move on. Oh, are they delicious? So the main thing is we live in such a negative time. People are so pessimistic. Politicians are, just at each other's throats. The world, well, you live here too. So I just wanted to show some delicious hamantaschen. They're flaky, they're pure, they're unspoiled, they're everything wonderful, because I just thought, let's go positive. I don't want to contribute to the negativity. And so that's why I've titled my talk, Latke's Threat or Menace. So with that in mind, okay. That's a latke. Your heart is probably congesting and slowing down just looking at it. We all know how bad they are for you. Some people think they taste good, but people like a lot of stupid things. But let me, it's not just that they're bad for you, that they'll take years off your life, but I've discovered, again, through my endless and selfless, I might add selfless research, that latkes have a lot in common with the COVID virus. They're pretty much a dead ringer, and when I say dead, I emphasize that part. So again, yeah, maybe they taste good. Maybe they remind you of something from your family life that didn't involve a call to the emergency number or ambulances or police coming to the house. But again, everywhere you look, the latke is really just bad news. Again, oh, it's so nice. I remember grandma. Oy vey, there's I think the correlation that I've shown you in my subtle way is there. Now, that's not even the worst thing. No, this is my ride, but that's not even the worst thing. Because, I do come from the world of comic books. I was involved with Marvel Comics for many years and a little bit with DC Comics. But I thought, again, you look at the latke and after the COVID virus, what's the first thing you think of? Well, of course, the planet Krypton exploding. What else would you think of when looking at a latke? It's pretty clear to even the densest viewer that a latke has to do with an entire planet and multiple civilizations, not only blowing up, but turning into toxic kryptonite. So, like I said, I'm going to stay positive. This is all about positivity. Now, Superman, of course, came as baby Kal-El. Some people, including me, compare that to in a book I wrote called Disguised as Clark Kent, Jews, Comics, and the Creation of the Superhero. Did I mention I'm doing the audio book of it this week? Anyway, it's that Superman's coming to Earth is reminiscent of Moses being sent down the river and being found by Pharaoh's daughter. But look at the insignia on Superman's chest. That famous triangular S. This was in 1938, Superman's first appearance. This was a year later in his own magazine after he'd been in Action Comics. Now he's in Superman Comics. Again, the triangle. Again, this was This was Superman as social justice warrior in the 30s, very much like his co-creator Jerry Siegel, a Roosevelt Democrat. And so that's the insignia that we know. Well, what does that remind you of? What possible thing that we're talking about could that Superman insignia, which stands for truth, justice, and the American way, and everything good? I would say mom's apple pie, but that's not the topic tonight. It's the hamantaschen. I think it's pretty clear, what the hamantaschen is about. I figured with the general age of the audience, I figured this would be the Superman that people might remember. But even the George Reeves, whatever Superman you love, Ricky Ricardo may love Lucy, but Lucy loves Superman clearly because he's Superman. He's George Reeves, and he's got that insignia. Even the Supergirl and Superwoman, they carry that same insignia because they know that hamantaschen are terrific. I think that's a pretty easy jump in logic. I don't think anybody could refute the connection between the hamantaschen and the Superman, Superwoman insignia. This is how it's evolved through the years. From 1938, the USA Today logo is not part of it's not a Superman insignia. But you can see it's maintained that general, what we in the business call the hamantaschen shape all through the years. As shorthand, when you're working on a Superman story, you just say, when does the hamantaschen come in? So that, just to, just let that be emblazoned in your mind, and to bring some real world in, and there's no escaping the real world. But it turns out that there's bakeries in Germany, and I think some in America too, that are actually selling hamantaschen to raise money for the Ukraine, and there's hamantaschen. So again, clearly the hamantash is favored by those on the right side of history. Speaking of history, aside from the Superman insignia, you may wonder, what is it about the hamantaschen shape that does remind me of? Well, I'm going to quote now from an article that not only did I search and download, but I printed it too. So I will say that an article on the Alma website by Ariel Kaplan, and she says the hamantaschen are a modern version of Ishtar fertility cakes, which arose in 18th century Europe, invented by German bakers. And in Megillat Esther, the book of Esther, the Jewish queen's real Hebrew name is revealed to be Hadassah, which means myrtle in English. So where does Esther come from? Oh, none other than Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess of sex, war, justice, and fertility. Scholars have made the case that Queen Esther is the personification of Ishtar. Need I say more? So it's on the internet, it's printed, and it's on Alma, which I'd never heard of till today. But they have a really nice logo, and I have relatives named Kaplan, so I would take. But say to move ahead, is Queen Esther clearly thinking about hamantaschen? I know the general explanation for hamantaschen. This is part of an article debunking the Haman thing, but that's I don't want to tread on any some of the other hamantaschen people may have evidence to the contrary. This is also Ishtar, but it's a different Ishtar than we were talking about. I will just say when you Google hamantaschen and fertility, you get a lot of hits. And this is this triangular stone from a Neolithic shrine has had a circular hollow or cup mark pegged to the end of the apex, emphasizing for the cubic triangle, you'll pardon a little body talk, and worship of a fertility goddess. And so apparently the hamantaschen has been a fertility symbol through the ages. I took this headline off the story because, in case there was anybody in the audience under 60, I didn't want them to be shocked by the graphic content, but That's a real headline. I literally could not make that up. Yes, there's a reason hamantaschen look like vaginas. Everything you know about the classic Purim cookie is wrong. You folks probably have access to the internet or know somebody who does. So you can look that up more yourself. So just hang on to your hats. Now, when you think about fertility, of course, you think about children. So all I say is when you're voting, think of the children. Think of the children and vote the right way for hamantaschen. Just a couple of more quick points I wanted to make. Let's say you've been out for a big night of partying and you come to work the next day and there's a surprise drug test. It happens, it's not pleasant, but might be a urine sample, might be a swab of your mouth, but what do? You don't want to lose your job. Well, that's when you say, I was eating one hamantaschen. I was eating poppy hamantaschen all night. That's why my drug test came out positive. So right away, so the hamantaschen again has a very beneficial and societally positive role. Now, I don't want to go fully negative, so I will say, in the spirit of compromise, that I recognize and if somebody wants to accept this peace offering, these are again on the wonderful internet. I found photos of potato knish hamantaschen. So ultimately, we all can get along, and just vote hamantaschen. It's what Superman and your cardiologist would do, and that is my presentation. I trust I made my case, and if the rest of you want to give up now, it's okay with me. Thank you.
Danny, I've sat through a lot of presentations the last 2 years. That was truly amazing. When they say graphic novel, they really meant it for your introduction here. So a lot of people were applauding. I think even Thanos was snapping during that. So there you go. Anyways, Danny, that was wonderful. Thank you very much. Perfect. Great. Wonderful. All right, moving on. Sticking with the pro hamantaschen side, we're going to have next Lucy Steinitz. Lucy Steinitz was the executive director of Jewish Family Services in Baltimore before she left the USA to live in Africa for 17 years. Currently, she works for Catholic Relief Services on international peacebuilding projects. While living abroad, she suffered severe withdrawal symptoms from not eating good hamantaschen all those years, something she has vowed to never allow again. Lucy, take it away.
Thanks very much, Howard, and welcome to everyone. That was a hard presentation to follow, but fortunately we're on the same side, so I'm going to share my screen and give you more reasons to vote for hamantaschen. Okay, can you see this? No, you can't. Let me see if you can. Can you see this now? Is my screen sharing working or not?
I see a hamantasch.
Yes. Okay. So everybody good? You can see.
Yep.
All right. Do you have the full view of it or just the little one? Because I got to get the full impact here.
I'm
We see
getting
a
three
big-
screens.
Sorry?
I think you want to hit.
We see a big one on top and we see a lot of little ones in the bottom.
Yeah, that's not quite what I want. All right, let me see what I can do. One more time. If not, I'm just going to stick with this one. Okay, now
That's better.
that one's better. That one is going to, I'll go with that one. So please vote for hamantaschen.
You should, Lucy, you should go on presentation.
That's what I
Oh,
heard.
it looks good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. All right, hold on. My friend, but not technology. Do you have the full view of this now or not?
Oh, it's back to the little one.
Now I've lost the ability to do it in presentation mode.
Go back to where you were when you had the chocolates up.
Yeah, I unhooked my computer for the second screen, so I'm not quite sure what to do. Okay, so now you have me. That's something, but not, you can't eat me. I'm not gonna let you do that. All right, we're gonna try this again, and I'm gonna share my screen and hopefully. All right, let's see, what do you? We're back to the same problem, right?
Yes.
We are back to the same problem. Well, I'm gonna have to do it with this one, folks, because I really can't figure out how to do this. One more time.
Where's our Sherpa?
Okay.
Do we have a tech somebody?
Lucy, if you want, we can move on to the next one and come back to you if you'd like.
Give me one more shot at it.
Okay.
Okay. How's that?
Yes,
Okay, good.
Awesome.
got it.
Awesome, got it? All
Yeah.
right, vote
Awesome.
for hamantaschen. So I really whetted your appetite as I'm about to tell you that you should vote for hamantaschen because it's delicious, it's colorful, it's sensual, and it's mathematically pure. So the agenda we're going to be following tonight is that we're going to compare the ingredients. We're going to be comparing the touch, comparing the appearance, comparing geometric shapes, and I have bonus features to share with you. So the ingredients of latkes, I don't need to go through all of those. You know them, you've worked hard, you've slaved in making them. So these are the ingredients of latkes, and these are the ingredients of hamantaschen. And let us compare them. Now, both have eggs and flour and salt, different amounts. But these are the differences. In latkes, you've got 2 cups of peeled and shredded potatoes compared to a little bit of baking powder. But get this, onions in latkes that make you cry, and sweet sugar in hamantaschen. And then in latkes, you've got a half a cup of peanut oil for frying compared to a cup of unsalted butter. That's delicious. Now, which would you rather have? It's not peanuts, it's peanut oil. Yuck. Also, long-term, we're going to have to do what we can to support Ukraine, and hamantaschen have much more flour, which is an opportunity to support wheat exports from Ukraine. And what about the fillings? Well, you've got sour cream or apples, with hamantaschen, all the variety in the world, dates, orange, honey nut, poppy seeds, jam, preserves. Take what you want. There's so much more variety. You can do so much more. And best of all, you can add chocolate to hamantaschen. Now, how sweet is that? I mean, you wouldn't do that to a latke, would you? Chocolate to hamantaschen just makes my mouth water just looking at this. Now touch. Come on, latkes are messy. And with all that shredding, you even can scrape your fingers. I bet you have. You've put blood into the hamantaschen. You've made them trafe. You've had to run and get Band-Aids. You've had to do it all over again. It's just an awful process and dangerous. But hamantaschen are risk-free. And look at that gentle touch. That's sensual. Just look at that. Those fingers lightly pinching. I mean, they may look like vaginas, and now we're pinching them. I mean, there's just no other food like that. Appearance. Latkes are monocolored and boring. I mean, look at that. Just brown, a bit of yellow, not much. But hamantaschen are colorful. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. And hamantaschen are a feast for the eyes as well as the tongue. And you dress up for for Purim, for the holiday. Do you dress up for Hanukkah and for latkes? No, but look, I've got my triangle, blue hair today. It looks like a triangle. I'm sort of dressed like a hamantash, right? I can do that for Purim. Hamantash just really open up so much. You dress up, you look beautiful. They're just a gateway to fun and joy. Latkes are floppy and slippery like the Texas Republican Party, but look at this. Rainbow hamantaschen, they're unwavering in their form and they have justice on their side. I mean, isn't that amazing? You can do justice and eat hamantash at the same time. Okay, now they look like the COVID virus we hear. I mean, more than floppy, latkes just have a irregular amorphous shape. They sort of look like an amoeba. They're out of control, aren't they? Out of control. But look at this. Hamantaschen have beautiful, predictable shapes, and you can do so many wonderful things with this shape. They're so geometric. They're so perfectly proportioned. They hold their shape. They make beautiful designs. It's mathematica. It's geometry. It's just beautiful. And look at that. As a result, hamantaschen are a bonus for puzzle lovers. In fact, I would go so far as to say that hamantaschen actually inspire puzzles. Look at all these hamantaschen's puzzles. And they can become jigsaws. Beautiful jigsaws. These are hamantaschen inspired puzzles. But by contrast, latkes are just something to clean up. They're just messy. Hamantaschen art. If you did latkes, they would just fall apart. But look what you can do with the triangular, beautiful, geometric hamantash. Modern abstract, they inspire all kinds of beauty. I know that Judybeth is going to take this theme and carry it further. So in sum, my friends, latkes, that was meant to be hamantaschen, are better tasting, better feeling, better looking, more mathematical, more inspiring, more fun, and more Jewish. They also bring comfort in troubled times. So please enjoy and vote for the hamantaschen. Happy Purim.
That was great. Lucy, that was wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Lucy Steinitz, please. That was amazing. By the way, in the first two presentations, we've heard some words I wasn't expecting tonight. I didn't realize we'd be working blue. Jerry and Amy, after the event tonight, forget the taste test. Let's all have a group cigarette. I'll tell you that. All right. Third, now from the pro-Latke side, how exciting is this? We're going to welcome from the pro-Latke side, Chaim Harold Fruchter. Chaim is a physician assistant who has regularly taught Torah classes and has been performing Jewish music professionally for 50 years. Chaim and his wife, Rena, recently moved from Silver Spring, Maryland to South Philadelphia, where their daughter, Rabbinit Dasi Fruchter, is the founder and spiritual leader of the South Philadelphia Shtiebel. Chaim, please present the pro-Latke side for everybody, and welcome and thank you.
All right, thank you for having me. So when Jerry reached out to me to join the fun here, I took debate. Well, and when I saw the topic, I thought that there actually had to be a debate within the debate, which would be how to spell hamantaschen and how to spell Latke. There's not quite as many ways to spell Hanukkah, but there are many versions. I remember, I think it was last year, there was a debate on how to pronounce Latke. It was Laki, Laka, right? So that'll be next year. But right off the bat, we could praise the hamantaschen for its three-sided triangular shape, which the two previous speakers are just going crazy about. And we also have the Shalsha Avot, the three forefathers, that's the F-O-R-E, forefathers. We have the world stands are three things, the Pirkei Avot. We have the forefathers, and that should put the wind squarely in hamantaschen's corner. But hamantaschen's the symbol of the villain of the story. Who wants that? That's not good. So let's go to the latke. The latke is round like the world, filled with oil like the light that filled up the temple. That should allow it to just slide into victory. But we don't actually see the latke at all in the Hanukkah story. Were there even potatoes in ancient Israel? I don't think so. So I'm going to look elsewhere to get inspiration to decide the question of latkes versus hamantaschen. Let me introduce you to one of my guitars. This is my Guild D40 acoustic that I bought new in 1972 and I'm still using today. And my guitar is going to help me decide the question of latkes versus hamantaschen. But since we're talking guitars, let's take a brief detour to 1952, which is the year of my birth. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and as many people on the Zoom may know, our downstairs neighbors were Elvis Presley and his parents. And we had the upstairs apartment, they had the downstairs at 426 Alabama Street. And I have a very unique distinction of having Elvis Presley's address on my birth certificate. I think there are very few people who can claim that. So, and I know before the chat goes crazy that he actually may have been Jewish. I'm well aware of that. And he was our child going, all that stuff. But Elvis, we know, had some interesting food preferences. And actually, he may have eaten latkes and hamantaschen made by my mother. That's quite possible. But probably his best known food preference was his butter-soaked grilled banana and peanut butter sandwiches. Now, we could possibly conceive of peanut butter and banana hamantash, but definitely not latkes. Neither would go sour cream, applesauce, that just wouldn't work. So that would favor the hamantash. But they were also butter soaked and very greasy, which favors the latke. So again, it's a draw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the parts of my guitar and try to find hints to the hamantaschen versus the latke in the guitar. And we'll just kind of tally up the points and see who wins. Okay, so let's look at the shape of the guitar. I'm going to use this little mini as an example. Okay, I don't know, I could sort of see this as a frying pan. I think you could see that. So let's give a point for latkes. Okay, now starting from the top, we see this beautiful pearl inlaid guild logo, right? One of the measurements for oil in the Torah is, anybody know? The log, right? The log. So another point for latkes. Thank you. Here we have the tuning pegs. Now I'm going to give that to hamantash because if you can imagine turning these things, it's sort of like kneading dough, right? Point for hamantash. Okay. Moving down, this is called the fretboard. Everything's a little mirror image here. Okay. Now, if I'm going to knead the dough for hamantaschen, I'm going to need a hard wooden surface, and the fretboard would serve perfectly for that. Ruin my guitar, but still would be great for the hamantaschen. Okay. So another point for hamantaschen. Okay. Now we have here. I see someone's. Okay. 6 strings, right? Use your imagination. If we cut these and took 4 strings and turned them upward this way, you could have looking like a menorah, Hanukkah menorah. And take the bottom 2, turn them downwards. That would be the base. Point for latkes. These bars, they're called frets. Okay. Though they're silver, they are made of metal and are straight. Reminds me of Achashverosh's golden scepter. Point for hamantash. All right. This sound hole. Now that's easy. That's like the pocket of the hamantaschen. Another point for hamantaschen. Point down. Bridge. Okay. This is the bridge. The Holy Temple in Jerusalem, Hanukkah story was all about that, basically served as a bridge between God and the Jewish people. So this point goes to latkes. And finally, that's 8, right? Okay. Finally, the bridge pins. Okay. Now, I think anybody can imagine looking down at this could definitely be a Hanukkah menorah on the 4th or 5th night. Okay. So another point for latkes. So doing the math, pretty simple math. we get 5 for latkes, 4 for hamantaschen. The winner is latkes. And I say latkes are great. Yeah? Okay. But we're not done yet. Latke is clearly the winner, but I think what's most important is that we're able to have our opinions and still get along. So I'm going to conclude with a song about the hamantaschen lover and the Latke lover sharing a meal together. You like a hamantash, so very sweet, with fruity jam or poppy seeds. Oh, what a treat. You'll have it with some coffee now, that can't be beat. You're happy together. I like a latke round, all filled with grease. It's mostly of potatoes and some other things. I'll have it with some applesauce or sour cream. We're happy together. I like my foods, you like yours, that's okay. To each our own. We will sit together as one any day. We're not alone. Me and you and me, eating together like good friends, so naturally. Each one with our favorite foods in harmony, so happy together. I will share my latkes with you, that's okay. I think it's great. You'll share hamantaschen, brighten my day. They're on my plate. Me and you and me, eating together like good friends, so naturally. Each one with our favorite foods in harmony, so happy together. We're happy together. Latkes are better. Hamantaschen are better. It doesn't matter. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. We're happy together. Latkes and hamantaschen.
Chaim, that was extraordinary. I would everybody unmute themselves and just applaud whatever you want to do. That was extraordinary. Thank you. You might be outnumbered today, but you definitely not outperformed. So that was between the bad puns and the great music. It was like watching the Muppet Show in the old days here. So I really enjoyed that. Anyways, Chaim, that was wonderful. Thank you very much for presenting the pro-Latke side. All right, our fourth and wonderful final panelist tonight, going back to the pro-hamantaschen side, Judybeth Greene. Judybeth Greene is an artist, a ceramics and visual arts high school teacher, and hi Judybeth, and a former voting rights attorney at the Department of Justice. She carries her long experience in civil rights and advocacy into her teaching, where she uses art to empower student voices and to support mental health. Judybeth actively engages the Jewish community with her artwork, teaching, and educational leadership. Judybeth, take it away.
Wow, you expect me to follow that? Oh my God. All right, all right. Thank you so much, Chaim, for making my night. That was wonderful. And I really appreciate, I'm going to follow up on a couple of my colleagues' points. I think that Lucy and Danny have some things that need to be amplified that they've put forth. So I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Jerry Garfinkel for inviting me to be on this esteemed panel of experts, on one of the essential questions of our time, which is better, hamantaschen or latkes. All right, so first, I had to choose which of my my various levels of expertise to tap into for addressing this question. Now, this is going to bring me to the slide presentation, which may also bring me to the technologically incompetent part of my show. So, but I'm going to try, hang on. All right, here we go. All right, so I don't want you to see my whole screen. I want you to only see some of my screen. Does that work? Hello, does anyone see my screen?
Yeah, I think it works.
But you
Okay,
aren't.
I'm going to put it in slideshow.
Yes.
All right. Whoops.
I've got it.
I am, oh my goodness, it's not going in the right direction. Let me go back to the beginning. All right, so this is called Musings from the Museum of Modern Art. In preparation for this, I was thinking about what I could use of my various expertise. And so I was thinking first, well, I have this voting rights expertise, and there are the hanging chads. Now, if you look at them, they seem to be kind of a little Latke-like, you know, a little bit sort of stringy on the sides, and they caused a lot of problems. A lot of problems. You got to know that. You got to agree with me if you were born prior to 2000. And if you were born after 2000, you're not on this call. So I decided, no, I'm not going to go for the hanging chads. So then I decided, well, I'll go with my own art aesthetics, right? Now, if you look at my artwork, you will say, hey, wait a minute, this lady is not able to legitimately make a non-biased decision. Because here we have a, this is one of my artworks, and you can see my work is has got a lot of flow, and, you know, it just looks like, oh no, she is going to be anti-hamantaschen. So, and here's some of my recent work. So I've gotten into, now I'm teaching ceramics. So I've gotten into ceramics. So yeah, there is nothing about this that says hamantaschen really. It just is all about that curve, right? So I was afraid, well, have I lost my objectivity? I don't want to lose objectivity in this, you know, as a former voting rights attorney and lawyer. I want to be neutral and then accept all of the information that I get in to make a non-biased opinion. And you would say, hey, this artist coming in with all of this like curvy stuff, she's not going to be able to make a good opinion here, a neutral opinion. So I decided, well, I was at an art educators convention this weekend up in New York City. I'll go to MoMA. MoMA will tell me. So here's MoMA. So there was the first big exhibit was the Sophie Tauber art living abstraction exhibit. And so I thought, this is where I'll go to look. And at first, this is her first work that I saw, was diverse elements in vertical horizontal composition. And what this artist does a lot of times is she creates things via 2D materials, such as like gouache or pencil, watercolors on paper, and then transforms them into things that like Rachel Braun would love, the things that have that are made into tapestries. So I'll show you some of them, but these works here are done basically gouache and pencil on paper. She's from 1917, so she was around a while ago, and she was very big on design. She's from Switzerland. I don't know whether she's Jewish. I don't believe that throws her objectivity in this. Okay, I just want to be straight up from what I know. All right, so this beautiful piece was at the beginning of the exhibit, and if you analyze this, yeah, there's a couple of these little circles here, and they're kind of Latke-y. But I seem to see, okay, so I got like 4 of them here, but then I start to count triangles, and these guys, you know, I'm not going to have anybody, you know, count by numbers with their fingers, toes, etc. there's a lot of Latke-like evidence of focus here. You know, particularly this little black shape down here, equilateral, which, by the way, I should let you know that when you have an equilateral triangle like that, you can use that to make two different Platonic solids for those mathematicians of yours. You know, I think that's extra strong because that sounds smart. All right, moving on. There's the next piece I saw by her. Look at all these triangles. Clearly, this was another focus toward the Latke. I mean, toward the hamantaschen. You know, a lot of this angularity on the right-hand side of the work, plus the obvious multiple triangles as you go up. This was a design, again, Rachel Braun, for you. This is a design that she had, whoops, sorry. My students complain about that too. I got to tell you, I'm very quick on the finger. So this was a design she made for embroidery, and sort of in a figurative pattern, but you can tell from the way she uses her lines, this is really about affirming the hamantaschen from all of the different angles that you can see. Very clearly, she's got hamantaschen within her vocabulary. And even up here within the little eye, it looks like you could be stuffing something in that. All right, moving on. Now, this one is called Equilibrium, also by Ms. Tauber-Arp in 1934. And look what happens when you introduce, circularity into this. It's off balance. It is so off balance. Then you go back to these nice little hamantaschen with their same equilateral sizes, you know, all the way around. Equal number of degrees at each angle. Okay, so maybe not on this one, but maybe on another one. So you can tell part of what's holding this whole thing together is a beautiful construction of three equilateral sides. And then something in the middle that's sort of undetermined. You can kind of figure out what that is that goes in the middle. Again, it goes to the matter of aesthetics. Now, I looked at other artists that were also on display at the Museum of Modern Art, and this is Elizabeth Catlett, who is American and Mexican. And this was her work. It was a lino cut in 1952. And if you look at the very clear, there's several very clear triangular references here from the white shirt underneath her top to the angle of her neck, to the angle of her nose, to the angle of her hair, to the angle of her temple. It's pretty exciting the way she's woven these triangles within her piece. And there are other artists too. All right, here we're looking at Barclay Hendricks. He tended to do pictures of a lot of his friends and people of color that were you know, portrayed in a in a relatable manner. And yet here is Ms. Lynn Jenkins making a triangle straight across the canvas so that you've got a Latke on the top and a Latke on the bottom. And then you have the additional Latke of her knee. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean Latke. Excuse me, I don't know what I was doing. It's possible that this has gotten in the way of the diction. I apologize. But what I mean is that you can see from her toe to her leg to her fingers that this is clearly a diagonal making a hamantaschen in many ways, both from the knee to the other leg and two halves of the canvas. Now, for the sense, well, for the Latke folk, I do have to say there were some other parts that provided some basis to argue for you. Okay, so Chaim, you are not alone here. Look at all of these trailings that are all over here of those potato peels, the onions, they're all over there, right? They're everywhere. This could be your Latke, argument. Right here, Buford Delaney, Composition 18, and from 1954, there you go. I don't know anything else about it. Sorry, but I put it up there, it argues for you. So back to the my final point. This is a bit of a quagmire, this question of ours tonight, and I think ultimately the choices between the Latke and the hamantaschen is truly a matter of personal aesthetic. Or, as Maria Martins, a Brazilian artist whose bronze work is also at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, she might characterize this choice. She would say, any definitive answer on this question is the impossible. Thank you and good night.
That was extraordinary.
Wow.
Judybeth, thank you so much. Wow, that was amazing. That was really great. After that, I'm not hungry, but I do have a sudden urge to write a term paper. But wonderful. Thank you. One more time, let's give it up for Judybeth. That was wonderful, everybody. I have to say, these four presentations, and Amy and Jerry, if I'm allowed to say this, were just the four of them, the most solid, terrific presentations we ever had as a group at once for this debate. All four were absolutely great. So thank you to all four panelists, and really wonderful. And I know the next thing we're going to do after these four terrific presentations is a vote. Chaim, is there any chance, can I surprise you? Do you have any background voting music you could softly play as we conduct the voting here? We've never had that. You can think about it for a little bit. There's anything you can play that involves voting or just something like that. Jerry, help me with this, my friend. What do I instruct? Oh, there it goes right there. You see the poll right now. Which do you prefer? Everybody please vote, hamantaschen or Latke. Keep in mind we had one Latke participant, but he's going to take it away, ladies and gentlemen, with the yarmulke on once again. Chaim Fruchter, please. Perfect. Spanish gas. Excellent. All right. Is everybody
click to vote?
Thank you very much for the music. 100% answered. Is that if I'm reading that right? That's really great. I'm sorry. 71% participated. Look at that number go. You may be pulling this out, Chaim. There, 52%.
You're winning.
Where do you find the vote?
Yeah.
I can't find a place to vote. I can see the poll
It says
results.
polls. Down at your bottom, it says poll.
Yeah, right. But then where do you answer? It says one, which do you prefer? Single choice. Do you just click on it?
Correct.
Click on your preference.
It says it's ended.
It just says share results. It doesn't say poll.
Well, this wasn't scientific to begin with, so we're okay.
Looks like hamantaschen was leading, and then Latke caught up.
Wow.
I think I goofed.
Judybeth, can I pose, since you're the voting attorney here, expert, can you give us a quick analysis of what you're seeing here as the results come in? You're not going to file any lawsuits against us or anything, are you? Or is this?
Oh no! Usually I'm the one who's the observer. So I tried to click on this and on the poll, and it cleared it and relaunched it. Okay, it looks like it's back to normal. I couldn't find where to click.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Right, I can't either. Yeah.
Hanging cads again.
Yeah, I know. Is this more 2000 or 2020 you were describing here? Which?
We're back in South Florida.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's Oh, I did. Is there
Back in 2020, and I'm still looking for this. There was some absolutely brilliant thing going on, being shared on the internet with like Reb Nachman of Bratslav says, if you can see through the voting card, the gray hairs of your red-haired teacher, or something like that. I mean, it went on. And I can't find that. I've been looking for it. I've been bereft ever since.
Well, I'm going to call on, we have a couple more minutes here. I'm going to call any of our participants one more time for any final. Chaim, are you're mute. If anybody has any additional thoughts or comments or anything in the chat box you wanted to respond to for our four panelists here.
I didn't look at the chat box.
Voter suppression is pretty fun.
Judybeth, I will tell you that my daughter at one point had dreams of God, and God was a redheaded teenage girl.
Really?
It just
Johanna?
happens that she had
Johanna?
No, Sarah, my oldest girl. It just happens that she happened to have a redheaded teenage girl in her Sunday school teacher one year, and the next year it was the cousin of that girl who was also a redheaded teenage girl.
So let's do this. Amy, I'm going to call on you in a second or so to wrap us up. We are actually doing great on time. Danny, this gives me time. I'm going to go watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe tonight. You've inspired me.
Wait a minute, Howard. It looks like Rana and Mora Dvora both have questions. Their hands are raised.
Oh, I don't see that. Okay, go ahead. Can we? Yes. Oh, there, I'm sorry. Right there. Go. Pose the question, please. Who unmutes them? Let me see if I can.
Hello. Have I been unmuted?
Yes.
Yes, you have.
Absolutely.
You are now.
So it's not actually a question, but more of an existential. My cousin, actually my sister-in-law, puts cottage cheese into her latkes, and I want to know how that would affect people's feelings about latkes versus hamantaschen.
Why? Why does she do that?
We have no idea, but they're actually they're tasty, believe it or not.
We're interpreting the latke as sort of a hash brown in that case, right? A breakfast food you can add.
Oh, I'm disturbed because I think some of us are voting twice.
Stump the
Some of us can't vote at all because there are no circles.
You can't vote at all, yeah.
But that accounts that we even out that way. I think that's fair. And the cottage cheese question stumped us. So thank you for trying. Is any other? Not hearing a good cottage cheese answer. Is there another question before we go to Amy for conclusion? And Chaim, can I even pose one? Maybe.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looks like that Rana Brosnan has another question.
Judybeth, I'm impressed. I'm not seeing that. So go ahead.
No, it wasn't a question. I'm concerned because some of us are voting twice.
Some of us are voting not at all
Right.
because we can't find how to do that.
I can tell
think the
you.
lots of
Voter
people-
suppression.
I can tell you that I do not believe the Department of Justice has been called in for this or
Okay.
would respond.
They
It's a
probably wouldn't be able to vote either.
It's a fraudulent election.
it's a high tech. Yeah. Well, I will say throughout all the stages of this the way it renders, the Latke's been ahead pretty consistently. And that's interesting given how many arguments there were for the hamantasch.
That's because the hamantaschen were suppressed.
Well,
We have been blocked from voting. Investigate the deeds as Kay.
Michelle Yu has her hand up. Whoops. As a teacher, I really like to call on people whose hands are up.
Absolutely. Thank you. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I voted twice because there's two of us sitting here. I just want to tell you that. I've also been a firm Latke voter in Pittsburgh in past lectures. I'm in Chicago right now. I just put out there that the hamantaschen filled with potato filling really speaks to me as a sign of compromise that's needed for this time. Oh, I need to start my video. I hate videoing when I'm recorded, so no. The hamantaschen filled with potato, just it sounds like a unifying force, which we really need in this time. It's a very tough time, upsetting time, and my 95-year-old mother and I really like compromise. So that's our wisdom from Chicago and Pittsburgh. That's it. Thanks.
I think the hamantaschen with potato is, the rest of the year is known as a knish. So.
Knishka to you.
Okay. Two quick things. Hey, Jerry, I forget to ask, will this, for the benefit of everybody, will this be on video? This will be recorded and people can share it? Tonight's presentation for everybody. I should have known this and should have mentioned that.
I forgot to mention it is being recorded, and when I get it, it'll be posted on YouTube. And when it's posted, I will send an email to everybody who registered, and they can view it and do whatever they want with it.
Will there be a link, Jerry? Will you put a link to the recording on the website?
It'll be on the website, and the email will also have the link.
Good.
Jerry, will it go in a time capsule so future generations can enjoy it?
That too.
Okay.
The National Archives, right, Judybeth? All right.
All right. Dick Frankel had his hand up.
You're good at this. I don't know.
Dick, can we
Dick,
hear from
want to
you?
say something?
Can you hear me? I'm trying to unmute myself.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Going back to my talk a bunch of years ago, there's a very important dimension, a biological, ecological dimension, which is that wheat is comes from a source in Asia and Europe, whereas the potato and also tomato and corn and so on come only from the New World. So the proper choice is to think about where the Jews come from and what comes from them. And it may be that potatoes, which are New World, maybe belong in what we consider the future, whereas wheat and so on are from the Old World. And that may bear on the decision.
We live in the New World, though.
All right, I'm going to call on Judybeth again. Do you see any more hands that I am missing anywhere, Judybeth, before we come to an end?
No more hands.
All right, so three quick things. Here's the agenda for the rest. I'm going to thank this incredible presentation and panelists. I'll do that in a second. Second, I'm going to ask Chaim one more time to maybe do one more stanza from the song. And then I'm going to ask Amy Schwartz to bring it on home and to wrap us up. So first, this was extraordinary. Thank you to Jerry for pulling this together. Thank you to this amazing panel, and what a beautiful sight right now. I'm a big Captain America fan, and so Danny O is wonderful. And I'm going to go back. Please buy everybody's books who's been advertising a book tonight. Please buy them all. If you have it in front of you, hold them up. I will. I've learned to do this since I became a writer, and I'll hold up my book as well. I'll just take the moment there. he's reaching to his hamantaschen to, that's a pretty amazing trick to find a book. I will talk long enough for you to go get your book here. I'll stretch.
Hey, Lucy, if you look up and I look down, we'll look like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, exactly right. Hold on, everybody, hold up your books. Here you go. That's right. Lovely, lovely. All right, perfect. Chaim, number 2, can you do another something additional from the song, which we loved? And then at the end of that, I'm going to go right to Amy, and I'm going to be quiet now, mute, and Chaim, and then Amy. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Well, I did not write another verse for the song. But
Can you replay one of the verses?
It's the same verse.
Same verse.
all right, here we go. You like a hamantash, so very sweet, with fruity jam or poppy seeds. Oh, what a treat. You'll have it with some coffee now. That can't be beat. You're happy together. I like a latke round, all filled with grease, made mostly of potatoes and some other things. I'll have it with some applesauce or sour cream. We're happy together. I like my foods, you like yours, that's okay. To each our own. We will sit together as one every day. We're not alone. Me and you and me, eating together like good friends, so naturally. Each one with our favorite foods in harmony, so happy together. I will share my latkes with you, that's okay. I think it's great. You'll share hamantaschen to brighten my day. They're on my plate. Me and you and me, eating together like good friends, so naturally. Each one with their favorite foods in harmony, so happy together. We're happy together. Latkes are better. Hamantaschen are better. It doesn't matter. We're happy together. So happy together.
Thank you, everybody. We do have a class tomorrow on the Mishnah of Berachot, about prayer, and donations are always welcome for the study center.
And I think everyone wanted a result. Did anyone not see? The result is 56 to 44% for latkes. And I'm going to put this in the chat now. I wasn't sure if that was visible. A couple of people asked, but latkes won, despite the, I will say as a latke person, despite the overwhelming advantage baked into the to the proceedings. I'm sure.
Calling for a recount.
Well, we'll just have to try them again. I think we now have an official song for the Latke Hamentash debate. I am so delighted, Chaim, to have, it really couldn't be better. Thank you all for coming. Thanks very much. The chat is the chat is saved. I saved the chat in case no one else could. This has been a lovely evening. We've transcended our virtuality, I think. And thank you all, and Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach all.
Bye-bye.
See you around the study center.
And an early Shabbat Shalom.
And early Shabbat Shalom. And thank you to these wonderful
Eat well.
Bye-bye.
Someone has a question still? Chat?
Well, people can unmute if they want, but
good one.
Danny, you're great, by the way.
Yes, this is Mindy. I think we should send that song to the negotiators on the border of Poland and Ukraine. I think there's a lot they could learn.
From Latke Hamentash has the answer to all questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's the border of Belarus and Ukraine, but yes.
It's I mean, every one of those places probably has their own latke recipe. But well, this was really something. I think I said this every year. I think nothing new can possibly be said about latke or the Hamentash, but Every year
well,
I'm wrong.
Is anybody gonna rent this?
You
car tonight?
realize that Latke's won, but not only did Chaim go for Latke's, but his whole family was there. I showed some of
Yes,
the
well,
family
that's certainly
who was
part of
there.
it.
So
It's the power of music. And even though, I mean, Chaim was so gentle in his advocacy of the Latke, he left room for, maybe that's the secret. He left room for the other side, but maybe it's, I don't know, Latkes are just better, so maybe there's
The secret
there's
is that hamantaschen are boring. The pastries, and they're not like a knish. And you can put garlic in latkes. So despite how good the presenters are, some of us just vote our own predilections year after year.
I think anything fried is by definition better, is basically.
Well, I think, and you said garlic. I mean, that's kind of the end of the argument.
I think the problem with the poll was that, and the reason that Latkes won, even though I voted for Latkes, was because instead of a circle, they should have had a triangle if you wanted to vote for hamantaschen. And the hamantaschen people probably were looking for a triangle, so they didn't get enough votes.
Oh, there's a thought.
Fix that.
Somebody I was talking to.
Who won the 2020 election?
There may be people still mailing in latkes or hamantaschen.
I know somebody who's going to claim that he won anyway, and he probably doesn't even know what a latke or what a hamantaschen is.
I think there's still some folks on the.
He probably does, actually.
We still have a couple of guests, right?
How many votes did
Yeah.
somebody get for mailing in a latke rather than just the name latke?
Yeah.
Amy and Danny?
Yeah.
I think Danny was the one who talked about the vagina and the triangle.
There were two of us, but yeah.
It's a rare year that this doesn't come up in some form.
Yes, but what I remember soon after I moved to the DC area from Pittsburgh, of course, that's why I had up my Pittsburgh virtual background for a while. There was locally here a scholar in residence for Foundation for Jewish Studies named Dov Noy, who was faculty at Hebrew University, and he gave a talk about the triangle and ancient Near Eastern culture and the importance of it all and whatever. And I was reminded, Dov Noy, may his memory be for a blessing, of his scholarship on triangle, the Middle East, and fertility and more.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too. I'm trying to say something that's not going to be a horrible play on words, but I tried not to just go too far off the track with that.
No, it was very very nicely done.
Yeah.
Elegant. one year we had a presentation that was just blue. I mean,
Look at Howard's background.
Make sure that somehow this gets to the astronauts in the International Space Station, talking about transcendence. That would really be it.
One of these years. Yeah. No, it's good.
They may be in trouble now with the Russians not wanting to support them anymore.
Oy, that's a thought.
So nobody's going to go rent the Ishtar movie tonight? That's
that was great to see Ishtar. Dustin Hoffman and who's the other one?
The
Warren Beatty.
sleeping around guy, wasn't it? What's his name? The guy who
Warren
slept with
Beatty.
everyone? Thank
Warren
you.
Beatty, yeah. Shirley MacLaine's brother.
And the famous
Younger brother.
The subsequent movie that was terrible, Waterworld, and it was called Fish Tar. I remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they called it Fish Tar, yeah.
This show was painful. I remember watching that. All right, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Stay well.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Close it down. See you all next year and see you
And bon appetit,
tomorrow.
of course. And Taiwan.
Salam, salam.
All right.
Guys,
Take
take
care,
care.
guys.
Carry me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, Howard.
Thank you. Thank you. Jerry, you're wonderful. Jerry, you're great.
Yep. Yay, Jerry. Thank you for doing all the work.
I'm glad that's recorded, Howard.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jerry.
All right. Take care,
Okay,
everybody.
bye-bye, everyone.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.